Kosovo is probably one of the most controversial regions in Europe. Although it declared its independence from Serbia in the year 2008, the government in Belgrade still sees it as part of Serbia. The situation is also controversial internationally. While many Western states such as Germany, France, and the USA recognize Kosovo's independence, other states such as Russia and China are backing Serbia. As independence is therefore internationally controversial, the Kosovo government has now decided on a new way to separate from Serbia: unification with neighboring Albania. A large proportion of the population are ethnic Albanians, which means that Kosovo feels a strong cultural affinity with Albania. But Serbia naturally wants to prevent this at all costs. So how likely is a unification of the two states in the future? What would such a greater Albanian state look like, and could actual unification lead to war with Serbia? We look at all these questions in today's video. The settlement of the region by Albanian tribes dates back to the time of the Ottoman Empire. The Albanians converted to Islam, which gave them a privileged position within the Ottoman Empire. This enabled them to spread across an area that was significantly larger than present-day Albania. However, from around the year 1910, the Ottoman Empire was doomed to collapse and several wars broke out in the Balkans. On the one hand, this led to the founding of an Albanian state, while on the other, Serbia became increasingly stronger. Serbia continued to expand, annexing some areas largely inhabited by Albanians, including Kosovo. And from then on, the history between Kosovo and Albania was quite different. Under Serbian rule, many ethnic Albanians were oppressed and were only allowed to practice their own culture and traditions to a limited extent. As a result, independence movements broke out early on in Kosovo. The Albanians sided with Austria during the First World War, which also briefly liberated Kosovo from Serbian rule. However, as we know, Austria sided with the losers, which meant that independence was short-lived. Even then, Kosovar politicians put unification with Albania on the table as an alternative solution. They turned to the Allies at the Paris Peace Conference, but the request was completely ignored. Kosovo therefore fell to Yugoslavia, which was dominated by Serbia. There was therefore another, actually successful attempt during the Second World War. In the year 1941, the Axis powers founded the Kingdom of Greater Albania, which was under Italian rule. This also included the areas in Kosovo inhabited by Albanians. However, this kingdom was also short-lived and ended with the liberation of Tirana by the Allies. The pre-war situation was re-established and Kosovo fell back to Yugoslavia. There were repeated uprisings by the Albanian majority, who made up almost 90% of Kosovo and who resisted the Serbianization policy. When Yugoslavia broke up, the fighting over Kosovo was particularly fierce, and the Kosovo War broke out in the year 1898, in which NATO also intervened. Kosovo was subsequently placed under the administration of the United Nations, which, however, failed to find a lasting solution. As a result, Kosovo unilaterally declared itself independent in the year 2008, although this is still only recognized by 115 United Nations states. The Albanian foreign minister at the time declared early on that the long-term goal must be unification with Albania. And this plan for unification has since been supported by almost all of Kosovo's prime ministers. Negotiations with Serbia have taken place time and again, but have so far been unsuccessful. The government is also said to have declared the cession of the northern enclave, which is mainly inhabited by Serbs, as a quid pro quo. However, the proposal to cede territory is extremely unpopular among the Kosovar population, and many international players, including Germany, also reject this proposal. There are fears of further fragmentation of the region, which could also further fuel the problems in the neighboring states of Bosnia and North Macedonia. Incidentally, in a survey conducted in the year 2010, 81% of Kosovo Albanians and 62% of respondents in Albania were in favor of the creation of a Greater Albania consisting of Albania, Kosovo, and parts of North Macedonia. However, as unification seems very difficult in the current situation, many now see EU and NATO membership as a suitable solution for overcoming the borders. Albania has been a member of NATO since the year 2009 and also has good prospects of joining the EU. However, the situation in Kosovo remains difficult. There are repeated clashes between Serbs and Albanians. And the EU is making it clear that there will be no prospect of accession as long as the situation on the ground remains unresolved. Many are also speculating that Albania will join the EU as soon as possible. And by joining the EU, Kosovo would also join the Union and could thus break away from Serbia. However, there is no question that joining Albania would lead to further military maneuvers on the part of Serbia. And both Russia and China are continuing to expand their presence in Serbia, and the EU would certainly want to avoid such a confrontation. So, as is so often the case in the Balkans, the situation remains complicated.